Touching Bases with Marty Brenneman. Brought to you by Cincinnati's one-of-a-kind hotel, the Clarion, formerly Stouffer's.
Good afternoon, everyone. The Reds and the New York Mets bring up the curtain on the 1984 baseball season this afternoon. A big crowd expected for a day that's just outstanding weather-wise for baseball. The temperature expected to reach into the low to mid-60s. Nothing but blue skies overhead as right-hander Mario Soto makes his third straight opening day pitching start against veteran right-hander Mike Torres. The Reds, of course, with a new skipper here in 1984, Vern Rapp. He's our guest on Touching Bases, and I'll be back with the Reds manager when we continue in just a moment. Opening day 1984 at Riverfront Stadium today. The Reds hosting Davey Johnson's New York Mets, and as promised, our guest is new Reds manager Vern Rapp. This has to be an exciting time for you.
Very exciting, Marty. You know, I can feel it building up already within me. You know, you try to keep it low-key, and you try to do your homework well. And yesterday, you know, we worked out, and actually we went over our defense, and we went over how we pitch people, because I knew there'd be a lot of excitement here today, and you just want to try to keep it low-keyed for the players. And they're all ready. We're in good health and have a good attitude, and it's going to be exciting.
Vern, are there any areas that, as you open the season, that might be of concern to you in terms of this ball club bettering itself from last year?
Well, I think the area that we have to improve on, I felt we were going in the right direction in spring training from the pitching angle, and that's to keep the base on balls down. I know there was a couple games at the end that didn't happen, but there was total overall improvement by all the people involved that are on our staff now, and that's a key area. That area has to be improved on, and our bullpen has to respond, and I could see good things in Tommy Hume towards the end, and Smitty looks good. Power improved tremendously, and Shearer, we had the good outing at the end, and there are, you know, the dog days of spring training too, right. And I know with the cool weather, the big ballpark, they're all looking good right now, so we'll just take it one day at a time, and I know it's going to be the kind of days that we like.
You announced your opening day lineup yesterday, and you made the change up top. Gary Reedus leads off, Eddie Milner bats second. It was the other way around. Your reasoning behind the change?
Well, I really looked at it solidly all spring, and you know, we announced the probable lineup earlier and got that out of the way, but I really feel that Eddie has the ability to move the runner. I feel that he can hit the hole. It gives us the good hit and run situation there with, you know, Gary's got the ability to steal first, steal second, and this ball club has to improve on its offense. Now, if he can steal second, then Eddie can do one of two things. He can move him over with a bunt, or he can drive the ball through the hole or over to the right side. And I think David has the ability to hit and run with a couple guys on. And we can move runners and keep going. If anybody, he's probably our best contact hitter when you have a situation going. Parker, we back Parker up with Dreesen, and then we got Oseski behind him. So we got the power in the slots 4, 5, 6. Right. And then we get the Ron Oster, who's a good RBI man, and Bilardello and Golden when he's catching. That gives us some strength in the 8th spot. So we're as good as we can be right now, and if the changes have to be made during the season according to how the hitters are hitting, we'll probably be flexible in that area. And I know the fans are all excited to see how it's going to work, and we are too, and right now we have a very positive attitude towards it.
Vern Rapp's our guest, and I'll be back with more in just a moment. In the dugout before the opening game of the 84 season this afternoon, talking with manager Vern Rapp. You touched on Nick Oseski. Are you satisfied that as you start play today, he is healthy and hopefully ready to contribute?
Oh, yes. I'm very satisfied. I watched him very closely the last 2 games in spring training, and the practice periods prior to that, and then also when he did participate earlier, and I could see a more disciplined Nick Oseski. In the fact that he has better control of the strike zone, he has better control of his bat when the situation arises. He was a little tentative early, but I think a routine that we developed for him has helped him tremendously, not only on the field but at the plate. And we tried to get him to do things a little bit quicker and a little bit quicker footwork, and a little quicker mental outlook. And we feel that if he carries that into the season, that he's going to have an outstanding year for us.
Vern, you've got 8 games on this homestand, 2 with the Mets, 3 with the Phillies, 3 with Montreal before we hit the road. Is it important to win early with this team?
The bottom line's winning, Marty, and if we're going to develop into a winner, we got to start off with a winning attitude and do the best that we can. We're playing some tough clubs. The Mets have improved. We know the Phillies are tough. Montreal's tough, but we feel we're an equal, and we'll just go out there and battle hard. And the excitement and the adrenaline will be there on game time today, and we hope the fans will take time to come out that haven't bought tickets yet today and for the rest of this homestand, because we need their backing, and we're looking forward to an exciting season.
The attitude seems to be excellent.
Well, couldn't be any better. You know, you have to do things sometimes that some people don't like, but that's life, and it happens in all segments, and you can't always do the right things to please everybody, but if you can keep 90%, 95% of them going in the right direction, which we feel it's going that way right now, we'll work on the other 5% and get it 100% before too long.
I know you experienced an opening day, 2 of them in St. Louis, but this is a little bit unique here, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a good feeling for me, Marty, because I worked very hard in this organization, and we worked very hard this spring. We've got a new staff. Scherger and Tommy are back, but we feel that with the new additions, with Joe Sparks and Bruce Kim and Stan Williams, we all worked very, very hard this spring to improve the things we think are there, and I think together that we're going to achieve what we set out to do, and that's to bring a winning team to Cincinnati.
Vern, we'd be all thrilled to see that happen at the end of September. As far as today is concerned, let's get number 1, and thanks very much.
Thank you. That's what we're shooting at.
Vern Rapp, our guest on Touching Bases. The Reds and the Mets begin the '84 baseball season. Joe Nuxhall's coming up with a Turfside show.
Let's go Turfside with Joe Nuxhall. Brought to you by Jeff Weiler Chevrolet, where Chevrolets, like eggs, are cheaper in the country.
Hi, everybody. This afternoon, the Reds and the New York Mets open the 1984 National League season here at Riverfront. And for the Mets, veteran right-hander Mike Torres will go to the mound. And for the Reds, it'll be Mario Soto. Our guest on Turfside this afternoon, captain of the Reds, Dave Concepcion. And we'll be back with Davey after this word. Well, Davey, another opener for you, and this time as the captain of the ball club. And when you look at this year's ball club, after all the spring training, what are your feelings about going into the 84th season?
Well, first of all, Joe, let me tell you, I'm very happy to be back at the city of Cincinnati. And the ball club, to me, looked like he's going to be a contending team. I said that because the Western Division is so loaded. The Western Division is so good this year. Everybody got a good team, so we are going to be all close. So anybody make a mistake, we're going to jump on top.
Davey, for you, I know we talked during the course of spring training about how well you're swinging the bat now as opposed to last year, and I think we've explained that enough, but still it must be a great feeling to be able to swing that bat and not feel anything.
Well, Joe, I didn't really get this many hits spring training, but I feel 100% in good shape, and better shape than I was last year. I didn't have any pain at all, and I'm ready to go. I'm looking forward to have a great year this year and try to get this team to the winning attitude again.
Davey, you talk about the winning attitude, and certainly as we look back on spring now with you and Tony and of course Dave Parker and all the guys, I think the attitude was very good.
Well, we all put it loose. You know, we got Tony's back, and he's got a great attitude. Parker's pretty decent, you know, Wild talking, and Eddie and Ronnie and Villadelo and the rest of the guys. So now we're trying to get everybody together, everybody that, you know, to be, you know, happy and be a teammates and all go out there and play together.
Dave, when you mention and look at the ball club, where do you feel, you've been around this game a long time now, and what do you feel has to happen for the Reds to really, you know, be in contention?
Well, we got the team on the field. I believe so. We got the best A guy in the league, you know, out there in the field. If you compare with the other team, I don't think we didn't really behind anybody. Right. I think we got the right A team in the field. I hope our pitch is going to. I'm talking about starting pitching. We know we got Mario, and I hope Berini and Pastore and Russell do good. And if those guys, go out there and do the job, go and pitch 6, 7 and good in, with Hume, Smitty, Billy Sher, and Power, we'll be all right. I think our weakest part is pitching, but if we get lucky and our boys get together, we'll be all right.
Offense looks a lot better for us this year.
Yes, offense and defense. Offense, I think we much better. I feel 100% better. We got Parker, and we got Grayson and Goucher. He's got out of the knee operation. He feel fine. Sasaki is the second year. Ronnie's been in the big league for 4 or 5 years, and Biladera second year, so he's gonna do better. He know the hitter, so he's gonna make a better call behind the plate.
Davey, you on a lot of occasions go to the mound to talk with a pitcher, and I realize some of the times is just to kind of give him a little breather, so to speak, but other times certainly talking about a certain hitter, and that goes back, as I say, to the fact that you've been in the league a long time and know these people.
Well, most of the time I just go out there and get the pitcher alert, and also the catcher. I call the catcher and say, well, now you got the situation, there's a maintenance, whatever the call procedure, you got the base open, so now you do work. You got the base open. You have to think about it a little bit. You know who's the hitter behind it. So if you walk this guy or you pitching tough, it's fine. Let the other guy beat you. So it's my job. I go out there and try to get the pitcher and the catcher back in the game.
Will you feel more comfortable, Davey, this year in your role as a captain after Mr. Housen came over and came back to the ball club?
Well, I feel more comfortable all the way because, I feel we got a better team. Mm-hmm. I got, when we got a better team, they give more confidence to me and they make my job easy.
Sure.
In the last 2 years, a lot of people was count on me and one man don't make the whole team. Right. We got 25 men and we all 25 had to go out there and do the job.
Dave, as we say, opening day for you, another one, and it's funny you say, well, it's another ball game. It isn't. Do you have the butterflies yet?
No, not really, but I always get a little bit nervous. Till I get my first ground ball, if I go out there and hit, I don't really be nervous, but I want to give the first ground ball at the game, and then everything is over to me.
It's a great game, Dave, and have a great year, all of you guys.
Thank you, Joe.
All right. Dave Concepcion has been our guest. We'll be back with a look at the starting pitchers after this word.
It's the Reds on Radio. The 1984 Cincinnati Reds are on the air. Reds baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. Reach for that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. By Marathon and Marathon dealers and distributors. Best in the long run. By Chevrolet. America is on the move, and Chevrolet is supplying the wheels. Chevrolet and you, taking charge. By Frisch's. We never forgot what a restaurant ought to be. By Pepsi-Cola General Bottlers Incorporated of Cincinnati. By the First National Bank of Cincinnati. First in Cincinnati with Investor Exchange Discount Brokerage. And by G.L. Hundley and Associates, representing Life of Virginia. Now for all the play-by-play action of Cincinnati Reds baseball, here's Marty Brenneman and Joe Nuxall.
Good afternoon, everybody, from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Welcome to Reds baseball. Day one of a 162-game baseball season as the Reds kick off the '84 campaign by hosting the New York Mets under new manager Davey Johnson. A beautiful afternoon for baseball. All the pomp and circumstance has pretty much been dispensed with, and now we start to get down to brass tacks. Mario Soto on the mound for the Reds. He won 17 last year. Mike Torres, a veteran for the Mets, he won 10. And we'll be back to take a look at the starting lineups in just a moment. If you're ready now, the starting lineups today. First for New York, leading off and playing second base will be Wally Backman. Batting second at shortstop, the youngster, Jose Oquendo. Hitting third, Keith Hernandez at first base. Batting cleanup, George Foster in left field. Batting fifth and in right field, last year's National League Rookie of the Year, Darryl Strawberry. Hitting number 6 in center field, Mookie Wilson. Hubie Brooks will bat seventh. He'll play third. Batting 8th and catching, Ron Hodges. And batting 9th and pitching, right-hander Mike Torres. Once again for the Mets, Backman at second base, Oquendo at shortstop, Hernandez at first, Foster in left field, Strawberry in right field, Wilson in center, with Brooks at third, Hodges catching, and Torres pitching. For the Reds, as they now take the field, leading off in left field, Gary Reedus. Eddie Milner bats in the 2 spot. He'll play center field. Dave Concepcion, the team captain at shortstop, batting third. Hitting fourth, the right fielder, Dave Parker. Batting fifth at first base, Danny Dreesen. Hitting sixth, Nick Osaski at third. Ron Oster will bat seventh. He'll play second base. Hitting eighth and catching, Dan Billardello. And batting ninth and pitching, right-hander Mario Soto. Once more for the Reds, Reedus in left field, Milner in center field, Concepcion at shortstop, Parker in right, Dreesen at first, Osaski at third, with Oster at second base, Billardello the catcher, and Soto the pitcher. Joe, game one about to unfold at Riverfront. The Reds against the Mets, two teams who did not see each other during the spring training schedule, and now we'll start to find out how good a baseball team this can be.
This is when it counts, you know.
Yes,
now
sir.
that spring training stuff's out of the way. Put the green stuff up now, that's for sure. But, you know, it's interesting, Marty, you talk to these guys and you say, well, we're cool about this. What the dickens? An opening day, I talked to Mike Torres, and he said, Joe, he said, I can't wait. He said, I'm so nervous. And I talked to Mario. He said my palms of my hands are sweaty. So that tells you what kind of competitors they are, and that's very true, I think, of each and every one of them. Those that say, well, it's just another day, they're wrong. It's not another day, it's another season, another major league season, and we know what is the end of this season for the best team in baseball, and that's world's champions. And certainly both of these ball clubs have those things in the back of their mind, and we'll find out as we progress through this season who it's going to be. And hopefully the Reds, with all they've done this spring and the acquisitions, maybe can surprise a lot of people. I'm sure the New York Mets feel that they're a much better ball club. Davey Johnson feels that way. They have some young pitching, and if that comes true for the Mets, I think offensively they're going to be a good ball club. When you look at that Darryl Strawberry and George Foster and so on down the line. So this is going to be an interesting season, and hopefully it's very interesting for the Cincinnati Reds in the number of W's we get.
Well, we are set to go. Wally Backman, a young man who performed with distinction for Davey Johnson at the Tidewater Club last year in the International League. He was loyal to this man, although Backman won that second base position outright in spring training, and he has the honor of leading things off for New York. Mario Soto, his third straight opening day assignment as he looks down to the youngster behind the plate, Dan Billardello, the wind and the pitch. It is taken for a strike, and the 84 season is underway. Mario losing 3-2 2 years ago to the Chicago Cubs, defeated the Atlanta Braves 5-4 on opening day here last season. He's back with a one-strike pitch, and Backman fouls it back and out of play. On deck for the Mets, shortstop Jose Oquendo, and hitting third in the inning will be first baseman Keith Hernandez. The day is simply out of this world. Temperatures expected to get to the low to mid-60s. Blue skies overhead, an ideal opening day. Swing and a miss. He got him with a changeup. And Soto disposes of Backman on 3 pitches. He had 242 such strikeouts in 1983, and, well, he begins things in a new year with a strikeout against the first man he faces. Here's Oquendo. Shortstop and second base were problem positions for the Mets last season, but Davey Johnson says these are the people I'm going to start with, going to give them every opportunity in the world to prove that they belong there on an everyday basis. Oquendo last year hit but .213 with a home run. Right-handed batter. He swings on the fastball, strike one. Defensively for the Reds, Danny Dreesen at first, Ron Oster at second, Dave Concepcion the shortstop, drawn in at third, Nick Osaski, Gary Reedus in left, Eddie Milner in center, the newcomer Dave Parker in right, and Billardello waiting on Soto's strike one pitch. That's inside. The count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. As Joe mentioned earlier, Mario has never lost to the New York Mets, a career record of 5-0. So not only do you go with the best that you have on the staff, but you go with a guy who's had the greatest success against this club. But this pitch right here gets away from Soto. He hits Oquendo in the back, and he's a base runner with 1 man out.
Marty, it looked like a changeup that Mario got him with. I don't think a fastball would have got the job done, but then it might have been a fastball too, but it looked like it hit him on the left shoulder, and apparently he's okay.
So now here's Keith Hernandez, and here is one reason why the Mets feel like they're going to be better this season. The fact that they have Hernandez for an entire year, they have Strawberry for an entire season, and they should score some runs, as Joe mentioned. Keith last year, between the Cardinals and the Mets, hit .297. Homered 12 times and drove in 63 runs, and without doubt, he's one of the fine hitters in Major League Baseball. Left-handed batter. Okendo with a short lead at first. Soto throws to the plate. That's in for a strike. The plate umpire is Lee Wire. At first base, Dutch Rennert, Ed Montague at second, and Big Eric Gregg at third. The Reds outfield playing Hernandez straight away. And as we look down on the Riverfront Stadium turf and on into the outfield as Soto throws the 0-1, Hernandez takes it high. Again, in case you have not been made aware of it, we have 8-foot-high fences this season at Riverfront. They've chopped 4 feet off the previous 12-foot-high walls all around the ballpark. It had been 12 since the stadium opened back in 1970, but this year they have been dropped down to 8. Soto throwing to first. Okendo gets back. Top of the first inning. 1 out, 1 on. And the throw to first again, and he's safe again. The coaches for the Mets, at first, Bill Robinson. And over at third, Bobby Valentine. Now, they say that as the season wears on and Davey Johnson becomes a bit more knowledgeable about the players in this league, it's a good chance that Frank Howard could go to the first base box and Robinson, who is a hitting instructor, go back in the dugout. Here's a pitch, and Hernandez takes it up. 2 balls and 1 strike. But, of course, Frank, who managed this club last year when George Bamberger resigned, knows this league and knows the opposing players, and that's why Davey Johnson has him in the dugout. Did you have something to offer, sir?
I'll get back to it with you.
Yeah, okay. As a throw to first, and just beat the tag by Danny Dreesen.
You mentioned the height of the fence. Anything else changed out that way?
Height to the fence, which is 8 feet. There's a throw to first again, safe again. Well, now you're going to put me on the spot, aren't you? Okay, go ahead. I give up. What?
You know that metric stuff.
Oh, it's gone, isn't it? Have mercy. Now, I like that. You file that metric stuff. That's exactly right. 330 down the lines, 375 in the alleys, 404 to center field.
What were the metrics measurements?
I can't tell you.
I can't either.
Huh. Learn something new every day, pal. 2 balls and 1 strike as Soto resumes work here to Hernandez. There goes Okendo. Pitch is swung on and fouled. Ball bounding out into right field after hitting the wall down beyond the Reds dugout, and a good play by the Reds ball boy. He went diving on that AstroTurf to pick off that ball before it got out to Dave Parker. So the Mets trying to run and hit, but Okendo comes back on the Hernandez foul strike, and it's 2-2. Foster due up next. Right-hander straightens, turns, throws to first, a lob. That time, Mario not showing the intent of really trying to pick Okendo off, just trying to keep him as close to the bag as possible. And now Hernandez backs off as Soto stretches on the mound. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Keith waving that bat around as Soto comes down to the belt, and the pitch, and this one is lifted behind the plate but out of here. Of course, all the normal things that occur on opening day, things that have become traditions in this city. The Findlay Market Parade earlier today. Johnny Bench was a grand marshal of that tradition. The ceremonies down on the field. The throwing out of the first ball. Harold Troutman, a gentleman from Middletown and a real Reds fan, had the honor of doing that. Hernandez swings and he misses, and Soto has his second strikeout. Harold and Maybelle Troutman from Middletown sitting down in the club box with Reds President and Chief Executive Officer Bob Howsam, had the pleasure of throwing out the first ball, and they said he was absolutely thrilled at having the honor of doing that on opening day. Here's George Foster. Did not have a good spring, but has vowed to enjoy his best year ever as a New York Met. He showed signs of coming around last year, batting .241 with 28 home runs and 90 runs knocked in. So a man who hit a lot of home runs for the Cincinnati Reds before being dealt away to New York now steps in with a runner at first, 2 men out, and he backs off as Soto goes to the motion. Foster in spring training batted .250, 3 homers, 8 RBIs, and he steps out again. So how many times do we see that over the course of the years? Probably trying to, in some small way, break Soto's rhythm and cause him to make a mistake. Here comes a pitch, and Bill Ardello thinking Oquendo was going to run, but he wasn't. Ball one. Danny getting such instructions from the Reds dugout. So they guessed and guessed wrong that time. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 out. Outfield playing Foster a bit to pull. And that one, a check swing, slow bounce at his third base. Hisaski goes to Oster. That's all for New York. They come up with nothing in the half of the first inning, and the Reds are coming to bat. We are set to go in the bottom half of the first inning, and on the mound for New York, right-hander Mike Torres. He was 10-17 for New York last year. He tied for the club lead in starts, 34, complete games with 5, and had the team high among their starters in wins with 10. Worked in 221 and 1/3 innings. There's no question about the fact that he was a workhorse. And against the Reds in 4 starts last year, he was only 1-3. Beat the Reds 2-1 here on the 27th of April with 8 strong innings of pitching. But then the Reds beat him the next 3 times out. Hopefully they can chalk up one here today. Gary Reedus opens it up. For the longest kind of time, Vern Rapp had plans of having Milner hit one, Reedus bat second, but then when he announced his lineup to the media at the workout at the stadium here yesterday, he made the change. Reedus 1, Milner 2, moving Concepcion to third and dropping Dreesen down to number 5 in the batting order. Pitches in for a called strike. Gary did not have a real good spring at the plate. The strike 1 to him, and that is swung on and fouled straight back. Last year batted .247 with 17 home runs, led the club in that department, and drove in 51 runs. Received some votes for Rookie of the Year honors in the league, won by Strawberry. This one fouled out of here. So Mike Torres throwing strikes, and this is something that they say he did all spring long. Now, he had problems with his control last year.
How do you look at a veteran?
Here's a line drive left field. Foster will have to play it on the bounce. And here's Reedus rounding first, heading towards second base. He is in standing. 2-base hit.
I was going to say about Mike, you know, you look at 113 walks by Mike, and a veteran that he is, something had to be wrong last year. That's just not Mike Torres. And as you mentioned, throwing strikes this spring, and there's an 0-2 pitch. I don't think he wanted it that good.
Well, Gary hit it well, a liner that Foster backed a step on to play it on the bounce, and with Reedus' great speed, that's all Gary needed to get the extra base. So now Eddie Milner, as the Reds have a chance to score here in the very first inning. Milner taking it up and outside, ball 1. The Mets infield has Keith Hernandez first, Wally Backman second, Hubie Brooks at third, Jose Oquendo at shortstop, left, center, and right in the outfield, George Foster, Mookie Wilson, Darryl Strawberry, the catcher Ron Hodges. And the 1-0 pitch. And that's high, ball 2. It is interesting. Joe touched earlier on the young pitchers that New York has on this staff. Torres is the only veteran. The other 4, believe it or not, are all rookies, and we'll see one of them Wednesday night in Ron Darling. There's a bouncing ball to the right side, base hit right field. Here comes Reedus. He'll be held up at third base, and I don't know what happened there with that ball hit to the right side of the infield. But Gary comes to third and holds on back-to-back base hits.
That's called respect, Marty. That's what happened. You respect Darryl Strawberry's arm. And that's, you know, nobody out. It's good judgment. You know, the 2 outs, maybe you bring him. But in this case, you certainly don't take any gambles because you could take yourself out of a big inning, hopefully.
Well, Eddie Milner found the hole on the right side of that infield, so the Reds have him on the corners for shortstop Dave Concepcion. Davey healthy now after undergoing shoulder surgery 2 days after the season ended last year, and hoping that it will help him to improve upon a .233 batting average of 83. Torres pitches, Concepcion swinging and missing. Reedus double to left, Milner singles to right. Mets infield back at double play depth. The outfield playing David straightaway. They have to respect him because he'll go to right field in a minute if he gets his pitch. He takes this one low. Hodges knocks it down. 1 ball and 1 strike. This is the Reds' 100th opening day as a member of the National League. And in the previous 99 seasons, the team has opened the season at home in all years except 1966, when ironically enough, that series was washed out. And the team that they were supposed to be playing, the New York Mets. Runner going at first. Pitch is taken. Hodges is thrown down to second. Milner with a steal. That was an easy steal for Eddie because Ron had to be sure that Gary Reedus was not doing anything at third base. By the time he unloaded down to second base, Milner had the base stolen. So a hit now could make it 2-0 in a scoreless first inning. Torres will work from the windup, and he serves it up. Davey takes it high inside, 3-1. Dave Parker on deck. Torres needs a strike. He kicks and fires. Davey takes. The bases are loaded. Now you hear this crowd, and they are bound and determined to make Dave Parker feel welcome. Many are standing and applauding here at the stadium, but I want to tell you, the biggest ovation of the day so far went to a man by the name of Perez. When he was announced, they announced the rosters of both ball clubs, and Tony got an extended ovation from this crowd. They are very, very happy he's back in the Cincinnati uniform. Parker, who hit a home run his first time up as a member of the Reds in spring training, has the table set with nobody out. Torres fires, and Parker fouls it off the bat handle and back into the seats off the third base side. He hit the ball a bunch in spring training. In fact, had the second best batting average among the Reds players at .368. That was exceeded only by Nick Esaski's .387. Reedus third, Milner second, Concepcion at first. The one-strike pitch. That is hit hard, base hit, right field. Here comes Reedus. Here comes Milner. Here's the throw to the plate, not in time. And on to third goes Concepcion. The Reds lead 2-0. Well, Mike Torres has not been able to retire a batter. So far, nothing going on in the New York bullpen, and somewhat surprising that Davey Johnson has not sent out pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre to talk with this pitcher. Dreesen now, Esaski in a moment. Torres working quickly. He lets it go. Dreesen swings. Ground ball slap to third. Brooks will go to second, and the ball dropped, and out anyway. Backman was able to pick it up. To get the force play on Parker as Concepcion scores, and the Reds lead 3-0 and give Danny an RBI. 5-4 on the outplay at second. Run batted in for Dreesen. Here's the Reds' third baseman. Came up to the Reds last year, if you remember, back in the month of June from Indianapolis, and the rest of the way, homer 12 times with 46 RBIs and a .265 batting average. So 3 runs are in with a runner at first. That's a ball down and in. Nick takes a look down to new third base coach Joe Sparks. Tommy Helms operating out of the first base box. Esaski waiting on Torres in the 1-0. Here it is. And that's down low and outside, 2-0. This is the beginning of quite a long homestand. The Reds have 2 with the Mets, 3 with the Phillies over the weekend, followed by 3 more next week, beginning on Monday against Montreal. Swung on and grounded foul toward the Mets dugout. So Torres with a strike on Esaski. It's 2-1. Have an off day tomorrow, and then the first night game Wednesday will feature Bruce Pereni for the Reds, and as we mentioned earlier, rookie Ron Darling for New York. 3 runs in. Nick grounds one wide of third, picked off by Brooks to Backman and on to first base. Not in time. The throw took Hernandez off the bag. That looked like the second low throw that Hubie Brooks gave Wally Backman.
Marty, he's putting Wally in a bad spot down there. Parker got him, and now Danny got him, and they were definitely because of the throws. And Wally can't stand a lot of that. I don't think he's not that big a guy.
You can knock a second baseman out of action for the rest of the year. 2 down. The batter, second baseman Ron Oster. Ron led this team in runs batted in last year with 58. Hit 11 home runs, batted .264. He takes it high and outside, ball 1. He is the 7th man to bat in what has been a 3-run Cincinnati first inning. Nicky Sasky at first. Torres checking him over his left shoulder and pours it plateward. Oster bounces one to first. Hernandez has it. He will go to the bag for the putout that ends the inning. Great start. 3 runs, 3 hits, 1 left. And after 1 complete, in this the Major League opener at Riverfront, Reds 3 and the Mets nothing. Swung on, long drive, right field, and the Mets are on the board. Darryl Strawberry put a charge into that one, and he homers to right, and it's a 3-1 ball game. I would imagine that is the first of many that he's going to hit this season.
Marty, you're exactly right. He is one of the fine-looking young ball players in all of baseball, not just in the National League. And I'll tell you, he got all of that one, and well, Mario a little upset with himself, but he still has a 2-run lead, and we go from here.
Second, Dan Villardello, first pitch hitting off the wall. He's heading towards second base. He's got to hurry up. He's in with a double. Well, that 8-foot-high wall, and he just missed by a foot or maybe a little bit less of jacking one out of here, but I'm sure he'll take it.
Well, he needed another 2 feet. He hit it 6 foot high, and about he needed 8'2".
That's right.
He hit it 6'2".
Well, he got a 2-base hit out of it, and Danny struggled at the plate during spring training. Here's Mario Soto. For those of you who might be wondering, Ira Joe Fisher was in town over the weekend for the Easter Seal Telethon on Channel 12 here, ably assisted by a guy who makes his mark throwing a football. Kenny Anderson of the Bengals, he did a super job. Here's Soto, and here's a bunt, third base side, and everybody's going to be safe. Torres could not field it. That's going to be a bunt single for Mario Soto. He put that baby right down near the third baseline. Torres broke off the mound, reached for it, and came up empty-handed. The Reds have him on the corners, and now the New York bullpen will start to get busy with right-hander Ed Lynch.
Marty, he had Mike field the ball. I don't think he had to play anywhere because his momentum was just carrying him away from all the action. Hubie Brooks was there, and it was just an excellent bunt by Mario.
Torres still working quickly to the plate. Milner taking. That's outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pitch. That is hit to right field. Hit well. Going back, Strawberry leaping up. Out of here. Home run. Line drive home run. I want to tell you now, that 12-foot fence in effect, it doesn't get out of here. So the Reds proved to be the team that reaped the first benefits from that new 8-foot-high wall as Eddie homers with 2 aboard. It is 6-1 Cincinnati. Here comes Davey Johnson out of the New York dugout and already pointing toward his bullpen and the big right-hander Ed Lynch. So Mike Torres getting the ball in the opening game of the season and has a tough time of it. The Mets are changing pitchers. It is 6-1 Reds, and we'll be back. 3 in the first, 3 here in the second, leading the Mets 6-1. That is hit hard and off of Keith Hernandez. It bounds to Backman. He'll not have a play, and that's a base hit. That was a rocket shot that almost undressed Keith Hernandez at first base. So Dave Parker 2 for 2, and the inning continues for Danny Dreesen. And ball 4. Dreesen's on. Parker moves on to second. The batter will be Nicky Sasky. Very high pop-up on the infield. The third baseman can't find it. The shortstop, and Hernandez, and it drops among them. Parker scores.
Marty, Hubie Brooks right away threw out his hands. He didn't see it at all, and it looked like a real mix-up. Keith Hernandez came a long way, and Jose Aquindo did. And I don't know whether Ron Hodges saw it or not. I don't know whether the pitcher, Ed Lynch, saw it. But nevertheless, that's one of the shortest doubles we've witnessed in a while, maybe the longest.
You're right.
As we say, 300 up, 300 down.
That's right. Infield double for Nicky Saski. And Keith Hernandez really came a distance. He ended up on the third base side of the mound, but could not play the ball. It fell in among four of them. So it is 7-1, and here's Ron Oster, ball to him. He swings and hits one high and deep to right. He might have his second of the game. Strawberry leaping, and he made the catch. That time he had time to get back to the wall, position himself, and leap above the fence, that 8-foot-high wall, to take away a second home run of the game for Eddie Milner. The Reds are down 1-2-3. Fine play by Strawberry. Seventh inning coming up. Don't go away. The Reds 7, the Mets 1.
Concepcion, Parker, and Dreesen to face Swan here in the 7th inning. Craig's 0-2. Change is swung on and hit deep to left field. Going back, Foster. Warning track, and that's out of here. Well, Davey, it's his first for the year, and it's an 8-1 ball game. That was just barely getting over the fence, and that's 2 this afternoon. And you can probably hear the fireworks in the background, and we hope you hear that a whole lot this season. Well, Dave Concepcion. Well, Davey has tied his last year's production in home runs. He hit 1 all last year.
Inning number 9, Cincinnati leading New York 8-1. The attendance this afternoon for opening day 84, 46,000. And even 46,000 on hand, and I'm sure that the majority, the great majority, will be going home happy and impressed with the kind of performance that the Reds have put on here in Game 1. Hernandez is 0 for 3, robbed in the 6th inning on a fine play by Concepcion. Out in front, 2 strikes. He'll be facing Foster and Strawberry. So the heart of the New York batting order in this 9th inning, 3, 4, and 5. Pitch. Struck him out swinging. Ran that pitch in on him. And Mario has his 7th strikeout. Runners at first and second on back-to-back 9th inning 2-out singles. And here's Hubie Brooks. 2 men on, 2 men out, 9th inning. The stretch, the pause, and the strike 1 pitch. And that's grounded foul, and Brooks is behind. 0-2. So here goes the crowd again. Outfield straight away. Mario looks him over, bringing it to the plate. He struck him out swinging. And this one belongs to the Reds. In the 9th inning, no runs, 2 hits. The Mets leave a pair, and a great way to begin a new baseball season for Vern Rapp's Cincinnati Reds. They roll to an 8-1 win over the New York Mets. We'll be back right after this. Well, after all the pregame festivities had been dispensed with today, the Reds got things going very, very early. In fact, in the opening inning against starter Mike Torres, Gary Reedus led off with a double to left field. He advanced to third on a base hit to right by our star of the game, Eddie Milner. And Eddie, with Dave Concepcion at the plate, eventually stole second. Davey loaded him up as he drew a walk, and that brought the newcomer, the big guy to the plate, Dave Parker. And David hopefully gave the fans here at Riverfront an indication of what kind of year he's going to have in this initial season in a Reds uniform. He lined a 2-run single to right field to get the Reds on the board. Danny Dreesen next up reached on a fielder's choice with Concepcion scoring, and it was 3-0 Cincinnati. In the top of the second, the Mets scored what proved to be their only run when Darryl Strawberry, the highly touted second-year right fielder for New York, took Mario Soto downtown, a shot into the lower deck, into the green seats rather, in right field to make it 3-1. But the Reds came right back in the bottom half of the second inning and rolled again, driving Torres off the mound. Danny Billardello double off the wall and left, just missing a home run. Mario Soto with a perfectly placed bunt along the third base line, and the Reds had him at first and third with nobody out. 1 out later, Eddie Milner crunched a line drive home run to right field. After Concepcion had lined hard to right, Parker had an infield single, a smash off the glove of Keith Hernandez. Danny Dreesen followed with a base on balls, and then Nick Osaski hit a mile-high pop on the infield, a ball that came to rest on the AstroTurf between the third base line and the mound with a lot of people around it, but nobody touching it. It went as a double, and a fourth run of the inning crossed the plate to give the Reds a 7-1 lead. They then settled back behind the fine pitching of Mario Soto to score but one more run the rest of the way, and that was Concepcion's leadoff home run in the 7th inning off of Craig Swan. Soto, as we pointed out during the broadcast, seemingly got better as the game progressed. At one point, he retired 12 batters in a row before a base hit with 2 out in the 8th inning by Wally Backman. Then in the 9th inning, he knocked off the first 2 batters, then gave up back-to-back hits to Darryl Strawberry, a single to center, and an infield hit, a topper along the third baseline by Mookie Wilson, before he chalked up his 8th and final strikeout of the game, fanning Hubie Brooks to nail it down. The Reds had 8 runs, 12 base hits, no errors and left 5. The Mets had a run, 7 hits, errorless baseball leaving 6. Soto the winner, and Mike Torres the losing pitcher. An off day tomorrow, and then the Reds and the Mets wind up the series with a 7:35 game on Wednesday night. Again, the reminder, plenty of seats are available, and if you have ticket information concerning that game or any game for the remainder of the 84 home season, you can call directly now into the Reds ticket office, that new number 421-REDS. Pitching Wednesday night will be right-hander Bruce Bereni for Cincinnati and rookie right-hander Ron Darling for the New York Mets. We'll be on the air with the pregame shows on most of these same stations beginning at 7:05. Again, the final score today, a game played before an opening day crowd of 46,000. It took 2 hours and 12 minutes to play, and the Reds defeated the New York Mets. Final score, 8-1.